Hello there viewers and welcome, this is your boy N90 and today we're going to be looking at stats details. So for those of you who do not know about the little tutorials that they teach you on this game, or probably skip the tutorials about status, this is your chance to be able to see, or at least understand, the descriptions for your statuses that you see in your status menu, right? Because you got your damage, the attack, the defense, accuracy, evading, strength, vitality, dexterity, agility. So I've had this question asked to me so many times, which is what the heck is attack and what the heck is strength and what the heck is damage, because they all sound like the same thing, but what do they really mean? Well, I tried looking things up and I couldn't find an answer for that. However, that was until I found out that this game actually has a tutorial system that teaches you all about your status. So if you were to click on the travel stone, you will see there's a part here that says view tutorial. If you click on that, it'll actually show you all the stuff you need to know about the game, including the status details, which actually has two parts attached to it. It's got the stats part 1 and the stats part 2 in detail. See those two parts right there? So let's go over these things one by one. The first one here teaches you about the damage, which affects the amount of damage dealt to the enemies. So it's basically like your overall damage that you can do. That includes the attacks as well as the skills that you have in there as well. So a higher damage means you'll be doing a heck of a lot of damage towards any enemy whatsoever. It could be to the lower enemies, the bigger enemies, enemies that are within your levels. It doesn't matter. It's just your overall damage. That again, it says affects damage dealt to any enemies. It doesn't specify. Now, the attack part tells you how effective your damage is going to be towards specifically stronger enemies. So if you're going to be doing the raids, or you're going to be doing the dungeons, you want to be able to have your attack to be very high so that your damage, your true damage on the left hand side, could actually reflect your attacks that you'd be doing to those big ass strong enemies. The next part is defense. The defense tells you about how much reduction you will be receiving when an enemy hits you. Very simple, right? Now the accuracy, this is the most important part of this game. You have to have a very high accuracy to be able to go up against very top-notch high enemies. The more accuracy you have, the more chances you will have of hitting enemies. So let's say, for example, if you went up against a level 80 monster, you need to have at minimum 180 accuracy just to touch him 100% of the time. So accuracy, like I said, it tells you exactly the chances of hitting them. Again, for 180 monsters, 80 monsters, you need to have 180 accuracy to actually touch them. So if you don't have that, you're shit out of luck, and you're just going to have to hope that your attacks are going to be touching him, but they're probably not going to be. The next one is Evasion Evd. This one basically increases the chances that you will be dodging attacks. So this doesn't mean you will be pushing X every time you do that quick sprint to the side or to the back or the forward or whatever. This basically means how many times the enemies will be missing you, which is great for people who are like tanking or, I guess, supporting from the background. The higher evasion, the higher chances that you will have in avoiding damages that are being aimed towards you. So that's a good thing to have sometimes. Unless you want to be taking all the damage, that's fine too. Now that's stats details part 1. Stats details part 2 is a little more different. This talks about the sub parameters, kind of like in Dungeons and Dragons, how you have those set stats on the left hand side. These are those little stats that actually help out and affect your character a lot more. So the strength affects your attack value, which that we saw on the left hand side. The attack value gives you the effectiveness to doing heavy hits to stronger enemies. So the higher your strength is, the more your attack is going to be affected, and the more attack that's affected increases your damage towards enemy output. Now the VIT, vitality, basically tells you, of course, it increases your defense as well as it increases your maximum HP. So the more vitality you have, the more defense and health you will have in the game. There's dexterity, which affects your accuracy. So the higher your dexterity is, the higher your accuracy level is going to be. Again, accuracy is extremely important in this game. I cannot stress how important it is in this game. You have to have a very high accuracy to go up against those very high monsters. So make sure that your dexterity is reflecting upon your accuracy to increase that, alright guys? The next part is AGI, standing for agility, which only affects evasion. So the more agility you have, the more evasive maneuvers your character is going to have. Again, evasion basically means that the enemies will be missing you, kind of like they're blinded if you have a very high agility or a very high evasion rate. So that's basically all you need to know about the status and your details. Except there's just two things. There's also all sorts of other things to look into this tutorial, so make sure you guys are reading up on all of these tutorial things because it has every single answer that you need answered in this game. Okay, because I tried looking up Wikipedias, I tried looking up Google, I tried watching videos, but nobody can find a goddamn thing about these things. And even viewers that I've had during my live streams have asked about these things, and I'm like, I don't know the answer, sorry. And it wasn't until I found out this tutorial system actually was here in the game. So you can find this at any single travel stone. All of them across the entire game will have this view tutorial. So by all means, you could always rewatch my video, or you could just go ahead and check that out, and it'll explain everything in detail. That's basically everything you need to know about your status details, boys and girls. I hope you guys have a fantastic time doing the dungeons and doing the raids, because they're going to continue to be building on more and more. Eventually I'll have my own builds to show you guys later on, but for right now, I just wanted to touch base on the main parameters and sub-parameters of status details. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you guys have a fantastic time playing this game. Bye-zies!